Hi, hello, and welcome. In today's devlog, I thought I'd do a full recap of what our process for making Flock Friends was like. Now, I know we post a lot about our process, but this one will be a little bit different, I promise. And as you can see, I'm just playing through some recorded footage of different stages of our development, starting off with the blocking out that Gabe did very early on. What's wild is, in just a couple of hours, most of the actual gameplay was programmed. He made the playable game extremely quickly, which is quite impressive if you ask me. And with the blocking out, he set up the sequence manager, got the player movement working and rotating with turning, and even got obstacles working. So a lot got done with this initial blocking out. Early on, Gabe and I sat down to brainstorm game ideas, and we talked about endless runners. We liked how casual they were and thought it would be a good first game to make. You see, before we started Flock Friends, I had made some smaller games like this over the last few years through school, and Gabe had just started learning how to make games as well. So this game essentially was our first test to see how we could make games together as a team. So we brainstormed this little endless runner where you're a bird flying over different terrains to catch slices of bread. We wanted it to be super simple with one main mechanic moving left or right, and it's not hard to learn, which means it's really easy to just get in and start enjoying it. We wanted this to be a game that you can play in those little breaks throughout your day. It's an easy game to launch on your computer, just play it for a few minutes at a time. When you close it, the game saves itself, so you can just open it back up again next time you want to play it. So it's pretty nice. Once the main gameplay was programmed, it was now my job to start kind of swapping out the assets for, well, our actual game assets. What you're seeing here is me designing the tile sets that would go into the game later on to create the backgrounds. I talked about this a bit already in the last video, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but essentially it was making all the background images into a tile set. You can kind of see what the menus started to look like from the very beginning. We didn't stray too much from the original design. There were a few things we had to add and adjust and whatnot, but this is kind of what the store menu looked like early on, with temporary assets, of course. The idea that you buy the wearables using the bread that you've collected, and you're able to actually see it on your character before you decide to buy it. And you can kind of do this for all the characters with all the different wearables that each one has to offer. And yeah, this is really early gameplay with some of the assets implemented, still some temp assets. You can see the backgrounds aren't designed yet in this part. Yeah, the main thing missing here is the character animations and, well, the characters. It's still just a white box. And the sequences and backgrounds aren't designed, but the game is there, it's working, it's an endless runner, and the AI is implemented at this point here too, so And if you saw last week's devlog, then you probably already saw something like this. Here, Gabe is placing those tiles that I've made. He's imported the PNGs into a tile map in Unity, and from there, it's really nice. You kind of just paint in the tiles wherever you need them to be. We have a background layer where you place kind of like, in this instance, the roads and the grass, and then we have a bounds layer for those buildings on the right and left side, so you can't like leave the game that way. There's only movement upwards. And you can see he's adjusting the collision boxes on all of those obstacles that are on their own separate layer as well. Designing the backgrounds were mainly for an aesthetic bit to kind of make it feel like you're actually flying over a forest that has rivers running through it, or a city with buildings and roads, or a mountainous area with rivers and grass and mountains everywhere. Sometimes games can get away with not having animations. However, they do a really good job at making a game come to life, so we knew we wanted to have at least character animations. Again, we were kind of working within a 3 to 4 week scope and we didn't want to push it, so character animations seemed very doable for us. I threw together 8-frame animations for each of the 4 characters of the game. And another thing we really wanted to push in this game was having customization for the characters, and we did that by having different kinds of wearables for each character. As you can see here, Pango the Penguin wears a jetpack. That's how he flies. That's part of our narrative. Ostar has shoes that move. Turtz has cardboard wings that move. So we wanted to have different designs for each of these wearable objects, so that meant each character had 8 animations total, besides Alphonse. So with the backgrounds designed, gameplay programmed, animations made, and everything in-game, this is what the game looked like about a week before release. As you can see, there was still some backgrounds that were a little wonky. We had to go in and fix some tiles a few times, and some of the backgrounds still needed to be designed, but this is what the game looked like about a week before we released it. We were still working out bugs, UI was still being adjusted, and aspect ratios were being adjusted still as well. But this is what the gameplay looked like about a week before release. If you buy the game, again, a big thank you. We worked really hard on this, and we hope that many people can enjoy it as much as we do. And that about wraps up today's full recap of Flock Friends. If you like this kind of video, please leave a like so we know if you want to see more videos like this. We're going to continue to share our dev process, and we're beginning a new game. We already have begun working on the new game, but we're going to begin posting more and more about it, so follow our social media accounts. They're all in the description below. And thanks so much for watching.